Hello and welcome to Bytes of Health, where we hope to take a bite out of your parent worries each day with sound advice and guidance. Every morning, we'll answer a commonly asked pediatric question in 5 minutes or less. I'm Dr. Jess Steier, a public health scientist, and today I'm joined by a guest bestie, Malina Malkani, a pediatric registered dietitian, author of 2 infant feeding books, and the single mom of 3 behind the amazing Instagram account, healthy.mom.healthy.kids. Okay, so today we are going to talk about baby led weaning. The clock is ticking, so let's get to it. All right, Malina, what exactly is baby-led weaning, and is it a better way to start solids than traditional spoon feeding?
Hi, so happy to be here. So baby-led weaning is a method of starting babies on solid foods using finger foods from the family table that are of an appropriate size and texture, as opposed to starting solids by spoon feeding purees. And there's lots of potential benefits for babies, which include things like earlier involvement in family meals, exposure to different flavors and colors and textures, more opportunities to practice fine motor skills, early dietary variety, and more freedom to follow those internal cues for hunger and fullness. And baby-led weaning is great in some ways for parents too, because they can save time and money and energy by preparing just one meal, since the baby eats what the family eats with some minor modifications. But I wouldn't say it's better. It's an option. And some babies may tolerate purees better earlier on. For example, those with developmental delays or babies at high risk for food allergies who may benefit from earlier peanut and egg introduction between 4 and 6 months to help reduce the risk of peanut and egg allergy. And in these cases, purees are necessary since most babies aren't ready for finger foods before 6 months. And that's okay. Both options are great.
So at what age can babies start baby-led weaning?
Well, for most babies, it's best to start baby-led weaning at around 6 months of age when they're showing the developmental signs of readiness for solids, which include being able to sit upright with minimal support, having good head and neck control, grabbing those larger objects, bringing them up to the mouth, and then showing an interest in food. In preterm babies, those signs are going to likely emerge at an adjusted age of 6 months as opposed to a chronological age of 6 months, so just do keep that in mind.
All right, but aren't babies more likely to choke on finger foods versus purees?
I know, you would think so, right? And fear of choking tends to be the biggest barrier that I see in my work to baby-led weaning and just to starting solids in general. But when parents are educated on safe food sizing and texture of finger foods for babies, studies show that baby-led weaning does not increase the risk of choking. For example, a 2017 study in the Journal of Human Nutrition and Dietetics found that babies who were offered finger foods the least often had the highest frequency of choking episodes. So the big takeaway here is that instead of focusing on fear of choking, put that energy toward learning about safe food sizing and texture.
How interesting is that? All right, so do you have to choose between baby-led weaning and traditional spoon feeding, or can you do some combination of both?
You can absolutely do both. There is no need to strictly follow one feeding method and no evidence that using a combination of approaches is detrimental as long as caregivers are using responsive feeding techniques while spoon feeding. And by responsive feeding, I mean learning how to read a baby's cues for hunger and fullness and then responding to those cues right away. And one of the things I love the most about baby-led weaning is that responsive feeding is built right into it because the baby is self-feeding and therefore strengthening their innate ability to self-regulate food intake. And parents who spoon feed responsively can absolutely strengthen that same innate ability in babies as well.
All right, real quick, any recommendations for first foods to offer babies during baby-led weaning?
Yes, 2 of my favorite early foods are avocado and sweet potato. We want those early foods to be about the size of an adult finger and very, very soft and squishy so they can be easily mashed down with gums. If you're looking for more guidance on food sizing and texture, I have a course at babyledfeedingcourse.com. This resource is for parents and caregivers. Comes with video guidance and 3 months of meal plans, so you never have to worry what to feed your baby.
All right. Well, I learned something. We hope you learned something, and we have lots more to share. You can get your bite of health every day, Monday through Friday. Special thanks to Malina Malkani for sharing her expertise with us today. You can follow her at healthy.mom.healthy.kids and be sure to access her amazing resources at foodallergypreventionbook.com, as well as solvepickeyeating.com, and finally, babyledfeedingcourse.com. If you like what you've heard here, let us know. Leave us a review on Apple and be sure to tell your friends. Also, be sure to follow along on Instagram at Bytes of Health Pod. That's Bytes with a Y. Remember, there is no single or best way to parent. Parenting is a journey, and we are all just doing our very best. We wish you happy, healthy, and stress-free parenting.